Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. All right. So, since the last podcast, a couple of things have happened. Let's see. Yesterday, 2 days ago, New Jersey and Calgary were both eliminated. Colorado was officially got enough points to have the West title. Carolina has the Metro title, and we dropped Seattle from the wild card race. Yesterday, Colorado went on to get the NHL's best record, so they will be the President's Trophy winner. Historically, that means they will not get any other award. Maybe they'll get the Conn Smythe Trophy they won't be playing Edmonton in the finale. They can't give, if Colorado's in the finale, it wouldn't be Edmonton. But I guess they could still try to give the Conn Smythe Trophy to Connor McDavid. Why not? Anyhow, so that's the changes that have happened. Other than that, not much. Yesterday, not too many games. Edmonton did beat the Sharks, which I was pulling the other way, wanting Edmonton to stay within reach of the Kings. But I don't know. The Kings are still 4 points out from the Ducks, but they do have a game in hand. They have a game in hand. What does the Kings have? Vancouver, Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, and Calgary. So they've got 3 teams that have been eliminated. By the time they get to Seattle, probably Seattle will be eliminated too. So Edmonton is the only team that they've got left. The Edmonton doesn't play again until they play the Kings, and the Kings have a game between. They're not back-to-back. So the Edmonton must have a couple days off is what it looks like. Anyhow, so the playoff watch still looking about the same. Edmonton won, so they have a 2-point lead on Vegas, who has a 1-point lead on Anaheim, 4 points on the Kings, and then San Jose. I didn't update that. Updated it in one place. That's the problem with having things in both places. So now the Sharks have the same number of games remaining as everybody else in the Pacific except the top 3 teams. So the Kings have a 2-point lead over the Sharks, who have a 6-point lead over the Kraken. Just about can stick a fork in the Kraken here. 77 games played, 5 games left, 85 points is their max. Preds are in the second wild card spot with 84. The Ducks at 87. So the Kraken out of the hunt for a divisional spot, and most likely whatever happens, who's Seattle playing? I think I don't know, because I took them out of what I was watching. So I don't know who they are playing anymore. But so still in the hunt, Utah, Nashville, Kings, Sharks, Jets, and Blues. Blues at 78 points. They're not within reach of the first wild card spot, but it could still be the second wild card spot. They are playing the Knights. They're playing the Knights. The Knights. Yeah. Oh, there it is. The Knights have to play Seattle, then Colorado, Winnipeg, and then Seattle again. Is that right? Oh, that's the Knights, not Anaheim, because I was going to say Anaheim is playing the Preds twice. That would be funny if they were playing the Preds and Seattle. If their whole rest of the schedule was just a couple of teams, but that's not the case. Seattle plays Vegas, Calgary, LA, Vegas, and Colorado. So, I think we can safely not consider the Kraken anymore. I can retire the jersey for the season, and off they go. Not that many games yesterday. Buffalo did win, so that took them ahead of Tampa Bay and the Atlantic, but Tampa Bay now has a game in hand. Other than that, everything else is still the same. Washington won, so they're now tied at the bottom of the Metro that can be considered. But not looking too good. 95 points would be their max, and 92 is where Ottawa's at. So it's not impossible for Washington to climb up there, but it's unlikely at this point. All right. So, quick playoff look. Not much going on. So, let's get to it. Yeah. So the Preds are in Utah. Cousins asked me if it was what arena they play in, and this is not the time to look it up. But the Preds are in Utah. 8:00 start Central Time tonight. Ought to be able to watch that. A little bit of that anyway. It was 9:30 games. They're tough sledding. Tough sledding in this household. We try turn it on the bedroom, but just at some point you just have to turn it off. It's an early morning here for us. So, but 8:00 ought to be able to tune in. 8:00 Utah. Utah is fourth in the Central Division, where they have been, I think, probably the entire season. Maybe they were in the top three to start with. Who knows? But for probably as long as the Preds have been in fifth, Utah has been in fourth with a pretty decent lead most of the time. The Preds did get close to Utah there for a little bit, but there's a decent gap now. They got 4 points still. 4 points. The Preds have played one more game, so Utah has a game in hand and 4 points. So Utah looking pretty good for the fourth in the Central Division. Where that winds up in the playoffs, I guess we'll see. They are 41-30-6 at home, 20-14-3. For them, this is the second game of a 3-game home stand. They are 1-0, having beaten Edmonton in overtime. One of those 3-point games that it wasn't in the division, but still, it was Edmonton. And then they'll wrap up the homestand with Carolina. Coming to Utah. Then they don't have a set of a schedule. It seems like everybody else, once they finish whatever stand they're on, then they go on, the other thing. But Utah's got a little bit different here. They got one game in Calgary, and then they got 2 games at home. They'll finish the season with 2 at home. So after Carolina, they'll go to Calgary, and then Winnipeg and St. Louis come to Utah. Those the Carolina-Calgary games are back-to-back. Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday in Utah, Sunday in Calgary. Guessing the weather's getting better. Weather's getting better. Weather's getting better. As for the series, this is the last game between Utah and Nashville. They have alternated away and home for Utah anyway. Utah is 2-1 in the series, winning 3-2 in overtime in October. In Nashville, losing 3-4 in Utah, and then winning in Nashville. So far this season, the road team has reigned supreme. And last year, they only played 3 games. Utah was 1-2, having won the last one in Nashville, and then they split. I guess they split the games in Nashville. So they played in Nashville, then in Utah. The last 2 games, 4 days apart, April 10th, April 14th, and Utah and Nashville. And split those 2 games. A shootout in Utah, though, so there was a point there to be had. For Utah, personnel issues. Number 27 center Barrett Hayton, day-to-day, not expected back till the 16th. And number 22 center Jack McBain, also not expected back until the 16th. Stats on McBain, apparently likes to take a lot of penalties. One transaction, one trade leading up to the trade deadline, the Utah Mammoth did receive defenseman Mackenzie Weegar and gave up defenseman Ollie Matta, forward Jonathan Castanga, and three second-round 2026 draft picks. They really wanted Weegar, or Weegar, whatever it is. Interesting thing. Castanga wasn't signed by Utah. He was a third-round 2023 draft pick's been playing at Cornell, and I guess he must be done. He did get a contract with Utah after being traded to them. The picks, the third-round picks, are Utah's, the Rangers, and Ottawa's. So, three second-round picks. Ollie Matta and a forward for defenseman Mackenzie Weegar. For the Preds, like I said, the Preds are fifth in the Central, been there for quite a while, 84 points. On the road, winning record now, 17, 16, and 7. This is the last of a 6-game or 5-game, depending on how you're counting it. Road trip. 3-1-1 on that road trip. They did lose the first one, so maybe we ought to call it a 5-game. They lost, big trouble today. 2-3 to Tampa Bay. Then they beat the Lakers, LAK, not the Lakers. It's still another LA team, but the Kings. Yeah, earlier this season, our hockey teams were playing baseball teams. Now, adding the challenge, they're going to start playing basketball. Close to the same number of players, but little different game. But they beat the Kings in a shootout, 5-4. Beat the Sharks 6-3. Lost to the Kings in a shootout, 2-3, and then beat Anaheim the other night, 5-0. So the last of a 6-game road trip. They will end the season with 3, no alternating here and there, all here, all at Bridgestone, no foreign countries involved, Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim. So tough stretch for the Preds here. I think the last 10 teams that they've been playing, all teams competing for a playoff position. And that hasn't changed. Everybody they're playing still in a playoff position. The only personnel issue, number 41 defenseman Nicholas Hague, day-to-day, expected back today. We'll see. That was interesting. When looking at Anaheim, they had a couple players out, and one of the players was shown in the lineup, but with a Red Cross sign indicating he was injured, and then the other guy wasn't listed in the lineup, and it turned out that the guy that wasn't listed didn't play, and the guy that was listed but injured did come back. So looking here at the projected lineup for both teams, nobody injured is projected as being in the lineup. So I guess that's the way to say it. Not sure I would expect Hague back tonight either. All right. But, hey, if you're not in the lineup and you're wondering, how do I, maybe I'm going to read a book, maybe I need some loungewear. A little loungewear, maybe a blanket. Well, CozyEarth.com, Preds Pro, 21%. You can... That doesn't look like a loungewear. Those are jeans shorts. I guess the tank. CozyEarth.com. Preds Pro gets you 21% off. You can head out there and get your first layer pajama short sleeve tee and pants set from $108. I got 7 colors to this thing. Buy 3 items and get 20%, but you can get 21% off just using the promo code PredsPro. And then after, cozying up, maybe you've got to feel like it's time to start doing something. That's right. Quantum Energy Squares, quantumsquares.com. PredsPro, 25% off. Free shipping at $35. You can get 100 milligrams of caffeine, 10 grams of protein, no junk, and a nice little square, ergo quantum squares. Ha ha. Fits nicely in your cycling jersey. No, hockey players, I don't think have pockets. Even though sometimes the puck gets stuck in their equipment. I think the other day, the puck got stuck in somebody's skate. That's tough. That's tough. Kind of fun. But anyway, so quantumsquares.com, PredsPro, 25% off. Right, so let's start into our discussion of some statistics. Yeah, Preds got 5 the other night. No score in the first period, which so a tie, which kind of what I like. Gosh, that's just so wrong. That's so wrong. Anyway, so the Preds on the road, when they get the first goal, like they did the other night, 8-2-3. Can you believe it? Look at that. That's a pretty decent advantage there. If they don't get it, don't lose hope. 9-14-4, but kind of a 2-1 advantage for the other side. Haven't had that many second period goals, so let's just move on from that. There's been 7. When the Preds get it, they're 2-1-1. And they did get it the other night, so that was a win. And then when they don't get it, they're 1-2. So 3 times they didn't get it, and it was in the second period. 4 times they did get it, and in the second period, but that's kind of a strange stat. And no first goals in the third period this season so far. All right, so yeah, Preds tied the first period. So let's take a look at their records for the periods. Tied the other night, gets them to 8-17-15. They almost have as many ties as losses, and they have twice as many of either as wins. If they got the first goal, they have not lost the first period yet. They did get the first goal the other night. It happened in the second period, so that was the first period being a tie. If they don't get the first goal, they're 2-17-8 in the first period, so really highly likely to lose the first period if they don't get it. Moving on to the second period, that they won the other night, but it's still a little weighted towards losing. 12-15-13. If they got the first goal, 5-7-1, which is not stellar. Didn't get the first goal, 7-8-12, but the Preds have this issue that if they play well in the first period, they don't in the second, which is kind of annoying. Kind of like my coughing here, just a little annoying. All right, so then moving on to the third period, at least a winning record, 15-12-13 in the third period, 5-4-4 if they got the first goal, 10-8-9 if they did not. Of course, what I care about is the winning and losing, so let's see how that plays out. In the first period, they are 5-3 when they win the first period, 3-14 when they lose it, and 9-6 when they win. So in this particular situation, winning and tying, both decent records. In the second period, 8-4 when they win, 5-10 when they lose, and 4-9 when they tie. So winning, the only thing with a really decent record, although they went to overtime. Yeah, they did. They tied the second period against the Kings and lost in the shootout. But moving on. Third period, if they win it, 10-5, lose it, 1-11, tie it, 6-7. So the best record, again, is winning. So taking a look at the combinatorics of that, win, losing, tying the first and second period, see how that looks. Let's see. And any overall? No overall. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, well, okay. So the best thing here is to win the second period. All scenarios that happen in the first period are winning records if they win the second. Nothing good happens if they lose the first unless they win the second. And yeah, I saw that the other night with the Preds, with the Kings. When they played the Kings, they lost the first, tied the second, wound up losing. Yeah, that losing the first, tying the second is the most frequent thing to happen in 38 games. 9 times that's happened. Or 40 games. Sorry, 40 games, 9 times. Wow, I guess at this point we played more road games than home games. Makes sense. We got 1 more road game and 3 more home. Most of the season had more home than away, but that's what a 6-game road trip will do for you. So tonight is the last chance for them to win the first period and tie the second. That has not happened all season long, and I think we're probably just going to wind up with a 0 there this year. That's kind of wild. But yeah, so if they lose the first, it can be rectified by winning the second. But that's it. If they win or tie, of course they've only won the first and won the second once all season, and that was a win. And then 8 times they have tied the first and won the second, and they're 5-1-2. So that looks pretty good. Tying the first, losing the second as a losing record, but tying the first and tying the second has a winning record. And then winning the first, it was good all the way across. If they tie the first, they can't lose the second. And if they lose the first, it can be rectified by winning the second. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape. As far as the combinatorics between the second and the third period, the third period, the best record, is winning. Maybe tying, but no good records from losing the third period. Tying the third period only works if they won the second, and then winning the third period is good in all the situations. So, so if they, so what we need to look out for is losing. If we win the second, we can tie the third, but if we lose the third, it's kind of bad in all directions. Yeah, and the interesting thing about the combinatorics between the second and third, it's kind of even between there, a high of 6 and a low of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 9 scenarios have happened 4 times. One scenario has happened 5, and 2, 6, and 1, 3. So a pretty nice even distribution between all the outcomes from the second and the third, as opposed to combining the outcomes from the first and the second, is heavily weighted towards losing, tying, and tying, winning. That's 17 of the 40. So almost half the games have had one of those 2 scenarios. If we throw in win the first, lose the second, well, so that would be 24. So those 3 scenarios are 24% of the, or not 24%, but 24 of the 40 games. I guess that's 2.5, right? So 24, 48, 60%. I guess we could just divide it by 4 and multiply by 10. Oh, that would have been easier. Anyway, tough thing doing math while you're talking. But hey, my wife's a calculus teacher, so she does that every day. Her math's a little more complicated than mine. just a little. Anyway, so that's the result correlations, and so that takes us to the winning goal. Right, so the Preds got the winning goal. the Preds got the winning goal in the second period the other night. Only 5-0. So the first goal was it. So 13 times in the third period, 11 times in the second, overall on the road. Preds still most of the time getting the winning goal in the third period 7 times, 4 times in the second period now, and 3 in overtime. Opposition more in the second, 7 times in the second, 6 times in the third. Looking at the home team, road team winning 35 times now. The road team has won, and it's even between the second and third periods, so 12 each. So that's 68% between those two periods. Next up is overtime at 6. That's half. Home team winning, at slight advantage to the third period, 14 times, 12 times in the second. So there you go, 69% there. Then it drops off to 5 in the first and shootout. 38 times the home team has won, 35 times the road team has won. As far as goal scoring, let's see, does this have, does this have the, it does. Okay, so the Preds, this is going to be a little bit of jumping back and forth. But actually, I think I remember the number. So the Preds are being outscored in the first period by 15 goals. But going back to the games up to the 23rd game, starting, they came back from Sweden, lost to Colorado and Florida, and then won at Detroit. And so looking at Detroit and forward, so the end of November, leading up to that, they had been outscored 1-10. So in the first 23 games, and how many of those were road games? There is the question. But they had been outscored 10-1. So that's a delta of 9. So since then, they've been outscored by 15 overall. So only 6. I guess that's better. Let's just go ahead and do it here. So let's. Why is that not working? Start date. Okay, so just for grins here, taking a look at that, and then we need scores. Taking a look at that, I don't know that that's that much significant. The Preds are outscoring in the third period by 6. They're outscored by 1. They've been outscored by 6 overall. Maybe that's not quite as interesting. Yeah. Just the first period. I think that's a takeaway, is that the first period has been definitely different since the end of November, and leading up to that was just so bad. But the Preds being outscored by 15 in the first period, they are only outscoring their opponents by 4 in the games in which they win. Now that would be something. How different is that if we look from November 26th forward? Still 4. They're outscoring their opponents by 4. Must have had a terrible. They probably did. Anyway, and still 4. They only scored 1 goal in the first bunch of games on the road. So in the games in which they lose, they're being outscored almost 3-1, 9-28, and outscoring their opponents by 4 in the games in which they win. The second period, they've been outscored by 1 goal. They've been outscored by 10 goals in the games in which they lost, and they're outscoring their opponents by 9 in the games in which they won. And then the third period, they do have a 4-goal advantage, heavily weighted towards the team that wins. The Preds are outscoring their opponents by 16 in the games in which they win, and then being outscored by 12 in the games in which they lose. And as far as the scenarios go, coming into the second period and third period, winning, tied, and losing. So, they came into the, tied. Tied got another one the other night. But the most common thing to happen coming into the second period is to come into the second period losing. That's happened 17 times. They've been outscored 16-13 in those scenarios. Their eventual record 3-11-3 and 3-11-3, 2-11 in regulation and 1-3 in extra time. Of those 17 games, 15 times they continued to the third period losing. Twice they reversed it, and they were losing coming into the second period, and then they were winning going into the third period. They did win those two games. So if they're losing if they lost the first period and they're able to completely overtake in the second period and go into the third period winnings, they 2-0. If they go into the third period losing after coming to the second period losing, they are 0-11 in regulation, 1-2 in overtime, and 0-1 in a shootout. So, only one win in those 15 scenarios, and that was overtime. Coming into the second period tied, it's happened 15 times, so almost as many. And they're outscoring their opponents by buckets. They're just buckets and buckets of goals. They're outscoring their opponents 21-10. 21-10 if they come into the second period tied. Their eventual record 9-4-2. They did come into the second period tied against the Ducks the other night. 7-4 in regulation, 2-2 in extra time. Of those 15 times they came into the second period time, 8 times they wound up going into the third period winning, and they're 5-1 in regulation, 0-1 in overtime, and 0-1 in a shootout. If they go into, they're tied coming into the second period, going to the third period winning, the other team getting the momentum by taking it to extra time seems to have spelled bad results for the Preds. 4 times they've come into the second period tied and went to the third period tied. 2-1 in regulation and 1-0 in a shootout. So the Preds seem to kind of keep the momentum a little bit there. And then 3 times they came into the second period tied and then went to the third period losing, 0-2 in regulation and 1-0 in overtime. So able to save one of those 3 situations. Next up, second period, coming into the second period, winning only 8 times this season, and they have been clobbered in that period, 12-3. 12-3. The 8 games in which they came in with the second period winning. Their eventual record is 5-1-2, 3-1 in regulation, 2-2 in overtime. 8 times they came into the second period winning. 4 times they were able to maintain that. It's kind of hard to believe, given they're outscored 12-3. But half the time they're able to go into the third period winning, 2-0 in regulation, 0-1 in overtime, and 1-0 in a shootout. 2 times they went to the third period tied. Both of those went to overtime and split 1-1. And then twice they went to the third period losing, and they split those in regulation. Again, coming into the second period tied the stats just look so much better than coming in winning. Hard to believe, but there you go. Third period, looking at the third period, the most common thing is to come into the third period losing 20 times, and they have outscored their opponents 26-25. Their opponents have had 7 empty net goals, and they've had 1. So before the goaltender gets pulled, they are outscoring their opponent 25-18 in those 20 games. Next up is coming into the third period winning 14 times, and they've outscored their opponent 16-14, but 7 of those are empty net goals, so they've been outscored 9-14. They did get a couple of goals the other night. So 9-14 if they come into the third period winning. And finally, coming into the third period tied 5 times, they've outscored their opponents 6-5. Speaking of records, 6-5, no empty net goals. So their eventual record, when they come in losing, 20 times losing, their eventual record is 3-14-3. So 1-14 in regulation, 2-3 in extra time. Coming into the third period winning, their eventual record is 10-1-3. That's pretty good. 9-1 in regulation, 1-3 in extra time, though. I guess it indicates, if they come in winning and then the other team is able to get the momentum to tie the game, they kind of carry that through. The 6 times they came in tied, eventual record 4-1-1, 2-1 in regulation, and 2-1 in extra time. So, want to come into the second period tied and go into the third period winning. Yay! Right, so that takes us to matchups. And we start matchups off by talking about scoring. So we are playing the Mammoth. The Mammoth are at home, and the Preds are not. The Mammoth have played 37 games at home, which is the least in the NHL. 2 teams have played the same, and the other 29 have played more. So, that's why we like to look at goals per game, the per game averages. And Utah is 11th in scoring for home teams, 3.35 goals a game average. That's about 0.2 over the league average. They're 10th in the first period, scoring 0.97, 9th in the second, 1.16, and 17th in the third, 1.08, which is just slightly below league average. League average is 1.09. So they're above average in the first and second. Raw numbers, 36, 43, and 40. 36, 43, and 40. That's pretty good. As far as giving up goals, they are right at league average, giving up 3 goals a game. They're 16th in the league average 3.02. 21st in the first, 0.84. 10th, though, in the second, 1.08, 1.01 league average. And then they dropped to 18th, giving up 1 goal a game average, which is below. So they are only above average in giving up goals in the second period. Otherwise, they are below average. Below average. They have given up 111 goals to scoring 124. So for them, that goes in the right direction. For the Preds, being a road team, 17th in the league in scoring, 2.93 goals a game. So starting to close the gap. They're just 0.1 below average right now. First period, still 22nd in the league, 0.73. And then 21st, tick up this time, 21st in the second, 0.93. And then 8th in the league in the third with 1.2. So only above average in the third, and then woefully below. Raw numbers, 29 in the first, 37 in the second, and 48 in the third. So that's it would be interesting to see what the ranges are. That'd be something. Ranges for goals per period. Yeah, I don't have that. I have that kind of stuff for special teams, but not. Yeah. What do you know? More stuff for the old spreadsheet here at the end of the season. Hold on a second. Let's just get that marked. Cool. All right. So goals against for the Preds. Let's finish this off. Goals against for the Preds, 12th in the league, 3.28 goals a game, which is league average is 3.15. Third in the league in giving up goals, 1.1 in the first. Fortunately, the first period is where they score the least number of goals, but the Preds like to, give them the opportunity. 25th in the second, 0.95, and now 19th in the league in the third, with just a tick above league average 1.09 at 1.1. So The Preds have played 40 games on the road, which is almost the most. Two teams have played more, 4 have played the same, and 25 have played less. So going to be wrapping that up by playing their last road game tonight. So how does that look? Utah above average in every period in scoring. Maybe not as much in the third, but they prefer the second. The Preds are pretty good in the second, so mostly giving up goals in the first. And then, so Utah more likely to score in the second, but more likely to give up goals in the second too. So kind of a nice little upsy-downsy there as far as the giving up goals go. I guess first and second period for Utah. Anyway, so what about their special teams? Utah's penalty kill at home, not very good. 21st in the league, which I guess is close to average, right? Do I have the penalty kill? Do I have penalty kill averages? Penalty kill averages 69.2 to 85.1. Yeah, they're right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. 77.7%, 25 goals against on 112 opportunities. They've scored 4 shorthanded goals. Times shorthanded per games played 7th, so kind of above league average in the number of penalties they take. Goals against per games played 8th, so opportunities 7th, and goals against ticks down to 8th, so I guess that's good. For the Preds, they are 10th in the league for penalty kill on the road. 81.5%, 22 goals against on 119 opportunities, so 3 less goals on 7 more opportunities. 4 shorthanded goals. Time shorthanded per games played 17th. And then goals against per games played 22nd. So both of these teams tick down from opportunities to goals against, so that at least is good for both of the teams. Maybe a little too many penalties for Utah at home, but that's the same way for the Preds. As far as the power play, the Utah's power play about as effective as their penalty kill, 23rd in the league, 18.3%, 20 goals for on 109 opportunities. They've given up 3 shorthanded goals. Power plays per game played, they're 16th in the league. Goals for per games played, 20th. So 16th in opportunities, and it ticks down to 20th. For the Preds, they have the 13th best power play on the road, 21.6%, 25 goals on 116 opportunities, so 5 more goals on 7 more opportunities. Only that 1 shorthanded goal. Power plays per games played, 9th in the league, so a little bit high there. Goals for per games played ticks down to 12th, so 9th in opportunities and 12th in goals. So that's and they're still 13th in the league, and it ticks down like that. I guess they get enough opportunities. What is the 116 for road team? 149. The range is 94 to 149 in opportunities. Wow. Yeah, to contrast that, Utah 112 opportunities on the penalty kill, and that range is 87 to 125. They have our home teams. And their road teams, way more penalties, way more penalties. That's something. So in general, I have to say that the both power plays kind of not as effective as their opportunities. The Preds seem to get more, and Utah tends to take penalties. So the Preds should have a few opportunities on the power play tonight. Not exactly sure how that works the other way. The Preds probably not so much. 17th shorthanded, and Utah 16th on the power play. So maybe 1 or 2, but Preds probably going to get more opportunities than Utah tonight. Which is good, especially if they happen in the first period. The Preds are ticking off at 35% in the first period, 13 in the second, 14 in the third, giving up 22% in the first, 17 in the second, and 13 in the third. The opposition is getting most of their opportunities against the Preds in the first, but getting almost as many in the second and third. It's kind of even, 45, 41, 39. Hut. Preds getting most of their opportunities in the second, 52 in the second to 34 in the first and 36 in the third. But they are only going at an 11% clip now. Ticked up, I think they were like at 11% before. But yeah, second period power play, if it was better, would definitely have helped throughout the season. So anyhow, those are the matchups, and that takes us to people to watch. Okay, so none of these people are injured. Like I said, McBain, his one stat being he's fifth in the NHL in penalty minutes at home with 61, but he's injured. That's the only stat I have for him. We start off with number 11, right wing Dylan Guenther, first in goals with 21, first in shots with 114, and then number 8, center Nick Schmaltz. Let's take a quick look back here. Schmaltz centers the first line. Guenther on the second. Guenther and Yamamoto on the second line. Tanev, right, from Seattle. Nick Schmaltz, number 8, center Nick Schmaltz on the first line, second in goals with 18, second in points with 38. He's got the most ice time of forwards at 1951, which is fourth on the team. Then number 9, center, where's he? Clayton Keller. Keller. He plays the right wing or left wing, plays the left wing on the first line with Schmaltz. He's first in assists with 35, first in points with 46. So their first line has their first and second point scores, at least at home. He is also second on the team in shots with 107. Then number 98, defenseman Mikhail Sergachev on the first line with Weegar. He's second in assists with 21, tops in ice time 24-42. Two players that have above 20% in shooting percentage. Number 56, right wing Kyler Yamamoto. He's got 5 goals on 17 shots, 29.4%. He's the left wing on the Guenther line. And he's got 22 games at home. I just was, somebody with only 5 goals. I was just looking at that, but he has played for them all season. It's not like he's just called up or something like that. So I think that is a stat worth paying attention to. Then number 15, center Alexander Kerfoot. He's got 3 goals on 15 shots. He's got 15 games at home for Utah, and he's second on the team in shooting percentage with 20%. So Kerfoot. Where is Kerfoot? Kerfoot, easy for me to say. Center's the third line. The Preds have had historically issues with the third line. I don't think recently, but in general, that they seem to get caught by the third line. And so Kerfoot with his shooting percentage might be a little bit dangerous there. For Nashville on the road, we lead off with number 9, left wing Philip Forsberg, first in goals with 18, second in points with 33, leads the team in shots with 110. Center Steven Stamkos, number 91, second on the team in goals with 16, and then third on the team in goals with 11. 2 players, starting off with the Mr. Stat, number 90, center Ryan O'Reilly. Leads the team in assists with 23, so he leads the team in points with 34, and he leads the forwards in ice time with 27, third on the team. Luke Evangelista, 77, second on the team in assists with 21, and also, I guess, finishing out the goal scoring third on the team, tied third with 11 goals is number 71, right wing Matthew Wood. Leading the team in ice time, the number 59 defenseman Roman Josi with 25-20, and then he's also second in shots with 97. Finally, one guy left with over 20%, number 85 defenseman Ryan Ufko, 1 goal, 5 shots now. 20%, just in case you're wondering. And so that takes us to Momentum. Who's got it? Well, yeah, it's hard to argue against Utah. They are on a 4-game winning streak, 7-3-0 in their last 10. They were 1-3 on their last home stand, but 1-0 so far this time. 11-10-2 versus the Central Division. 5-4-1 at home. So they kind of have a split decision against the Central, and it's got a split between home and road. At home, they have beaten Colorado, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Dallas, and Minnesota. They have losses to Nashville, Dallas, Colorado, Chicago, and an overtime loss to Chicago. Both overtime losses to Chicago, actually. They don't have a win against Chicago. Chicago has owned them this season. Interesting. Dallas, Colorado, they got wins against. Minnesota, they've got wins against. St. Louis, wins against. Nashville, wins against. But not Chicago. No. That Windy City blowing Utah away. For Nashville, 17-16-7 on the road. They did win their last game after losing in a shootout. 6-3-1 in their last 10. 3-1-1 on this road trip. 11-9-4 versus the Central. And on the road, 7-3-2. 7-3-2 on the road. 4-3 in regulation, though. 2-2 in overtime and 1-0 in a shootout. So, 7-3-2. So, looking pretty good there on the road. Let's see, Preds have wins against Chicago in regulation and in overtime. Chicago win in regulation and overtime. Then Colorado, they got a win and a loss, both in regulation. Dallas, a loss in overtime. And then Minnesota, a win and a loss, both in overtime. St. Louis, a win and a loss in regulation. Utah, a win in regulation. And Winnipeg, a loss in regulation and a win in a shootout. So that is the Central Division situation for your Nashville Predators. So it's going to be a good game tonight. 8 o'clock, so ought to be able to at least make the second intermission, you think? I guess it kind of depends on how many penalties. There's not a lot of penalties and not a lot of stoppages. Period goes a lot faster. But not a lot of time for that ice crew to come out and clear the ice. But hey, I'll take the action over watching somebody clean the ice or an ad. Let me tell you what. All right, so a good game tonight. Preds are in the middle of it. They're still in the hunt. 4 games left in this season. The last one on the road. 3 games at home. We'll settle it at Bridgestone Arena over the next few days. But tonight, let's wrap up this road trip. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.